Hello, people of YouTube.
Hello.
I am American McGee.
Martin.
Martin. No last name, Martin. Still,
Man.
after all these years, you don't trust these people enough.
Oh, mystery.
Look at all of these people are your friends. You've got Asteria Visual is here. You've got Lucas. You've got Taylor.
Taylor.
These are all your friends.
Hi, everyone.
And you still don't trust to come out and just say your last name.
Very untrusting.
Font Lord's secret identity. All right, so what do we got on for today? Last week's live stream ended abruptly.
It did.
That was a VPN failure of the most extreme kind. Apparently a function of the Chinese government's current, the not to be uttered government's current unease around potential something political or financial unrest. I'm not really sure, but anyway, apparently the VPN systems in China are all being whacked right now.
Music's still playing.
That was a VPN I don't believe failure of the. So we are back today.
It actually is. I think they're hearing that or something.
Oh yeah, that needs to be muted. There we go. Did that fix it?
It has fixed
There
it.
you go. So yeah, anyway, we're back this week. We have a new and shiny VPN system in place, and it is so great that Martin has done. What have you done to the bitrate, Martin?
I've upped the bitrate a little, not much, because apparently I did the speed test .net and it was just flying. It was like 250 meg down and like 40 meg up.
Okay, so so what you're trying to say to us is last week our house burned down, and then I've kind of repaired things a bit, and you've decided to chalk a bunch of gasoline and fireworks into the house this week. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna see what it can handle.
That's brilliant, Martin. That's
so
absolutely
far,
brilliant.
Look, 0 dropped frames, green, good.
Yep. Okay, Mark Martin's words. He's the one who, if the VPN fails this week, you know whose fault it is.
So
now,
you can see all of our wrinkles in HD now.
There you go. So now let us talk quickly about prizes. What are we doing this week, Martin? What fine prizes will these wonderful people win?
Assuming we stay on for the full 2 hours.
Shh, don't tell them our strategy for not actually giving away prizes.
The first 3 prizes, we will give away a mini print of your choosing. So there's Cheshire and Card Guard, and who else we got? Rabbit.
I need to add some more of these to the mysterious shop. But yeah, so you will be able to choose a mini print, autographed mini print, no less, for prizes 1, 2, and 3 of today. Now for prize 4, we have something. Ta-da! Ooh. I want to know why we never thought of doing this before, because it's such a cool idea. But what this is Jennifer did a classic blue dress t-shirt, and it's pretty damn cool. And it's actually front and back. So it's basically Alice's dress, but in t-shirt format. So yeah, this will be prize number 4 for today. And you will have to send us which size you prefer here. If your size is not listed, if you're an extra small or a extra tent, please don't win, because then we cannot do sizes other than what's listed here. But yeah, this is pretty cool. So this will be prize number 4 for today.
Yeah.
There you go.
Excellent prizes.
Excellent prizes.
Does any other YouTuber type people do prizes like this? Do they do giveaways?
I don't know.
I don't watch many, so I don't know, but I don't think so.
I mean, we started doing this early on because we didn't have much of an audience, and we thought, that'll get people to come and watch us. But then we just sort of got into the routine of it.
Should we stop doing prizes?
No.
What do you think, everyone? Everyone's probably won something by now.
I don't know. I think it's quite fun, and it doesn't. It's no skin off our teeth, and we get kind people like, and I just missed his chat went by there.
Yeah.
Kind people like Tom Resnick. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Tom
has been a longtime supporter and fan. Thank you very much. Very happy to have you here today, Tom. He's sent us $10. The reality is that the super chats come in and the prizes go out. I think that's a fair deal. I know it is. It's sort of. Prizes ain't cheap. Shipping ain't cheap. So you guys do some super chats at us, and we'll do some prizes at you. That's the circle of life, my friend.
We get to ask some silly questions and get some spam coming in as well.
There you go.
It's a fun part of the stream.
Now, we do have a ton of art to review this week. I think we got through most of it last week, but what we did not get through all of last week were your questions and suggestions. So we thought that today we might mix it up a bit by jumping straight into some questions and suggestions, and then we'll do some art review, and of course there will be prizes. So, Martin.
People are mentioning they like somebody's nose. What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. I find it's best to not read the chats, basically, because whatever happens in the chats really needs to stay in the chats. It's distracting while we're doing. That's why we keep it to the super chats.
Truth Decay. Thank you very much. No prizes, no super chats.
No super chats, no prizes. Fair enough.
Seems like blackmail, but let's go with it.
I don't think it's blackmail when it goes both ways. That's called a symbiotic relationship, Martin. Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
So, but thank you very much, Truth Decay. I do like your icon there very much. That is the chaos symbol. And I'm not wearing my chaos shirt today. I just asked Jennifer, actually, to create another line of shirts. And I didn't bring the stuff for that. But anyway, I asked her to do a bunch of alchemy t-shirts. So the alchemy symbols, like individually, just boom, one big symbol on a shirt. Because I so love my chaos shirt. And so apparently she's working on some alchemy symbol shirts.
They're in the shop.
They're in there already.
I've seen them.
Oh, no way.
With my eyes.
Check that out. Okay. We have another super chat from Alan.
Thank you for that. I recently knew that there will be a new Alice game by McGee. I'm very excited. I am already a Patron member. Greetings from Mexico.
Oh, awesome. Well, hola, por favor, senor. I forgot. Oh, amigo. You know, every time I try to speak Spanish now, when I was a child, I could speak Spanish fluently. But when I moved to China, all my Spanish got overwritten by Chinese. So now when I try to speak Spanish, I'll get one word out in Spanish and then Chinese comes out. So I almost said hola pungyo, which wouldn't make any sense. But anyway, thank you very much, Alan. We are glad to have you here along with us and joining the Asylum. Yeah. Alrighty, let's get into some of this.
We're going to try and knock some of these out that we didn't get to last week. This one was on the modular dress.
Ooh, modular dresses.
The concept behind this was the skull on the back of the dress could be swapped out.
Yes.
Was it not?
That is the idea. Omri had come up with a concept where, as you moved around in the game, you got the different dresses in the different areas of the game, and then there was a gem that went onto the back of the dress. I was just trying to find it there. There's a gem that goes on the back of the dress, and that's not it. That's a rabbit butt. You know, what is it with our artists and butts? I swear, there's a fascination, a fetish almost. So anyway, this is modular dresses. And so what is the suggestion or the question?
Well, what we have here, Rob Birch really likes this idea, adds a lot of replay value. Not knowing how the levels will be designed or what powers the emeralds will bestow.
Yeah, I think this is cool. And Omri mentioned that he saw this as a mechanic in a recent Spider-Man game. And I know you've played Spider-Man. Do you recall something along these lines?
You can swap powers out. But I think it's different because I mentioned before, the suits are all very spidery and the powers are all very spidery.
Right.
So it doesn't really look weird when you mix and match stuff. So it kind of works, and I never did it anyway.
Right. Well,
odd.
We did have quite a large debate around the concept of dresses in general because there are so many, and then how do we unlock them and what areas do we link them to? We're not going to go and rehash all that right now, but I do think that this is a good idea for how we might pull the various powers that the dresses contain forward through the domains, even though you don't still have that dress to wear, at least not on the first playthrough. This is a very critical point to make. Whatever we do decide with regards to the dresses unlocked or not locked in the first playthrough, we will allow free-form dress wearing in all subsequent playthroughs of the game. So don't worry, there will be dresses for all in all of the ways that you could wear those dresses.
There will. Xenon Freak sends 10 Mexican dollars, I assume, but no message. Maybe that's due to the super chat limit.
It might be. I think that 10 pesos may be below the threshold for what's necessary to get a chat working. So if Xenon Freak desires to share a chat, maybe just type that into the...
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, we'll try to keep an eye out for that. What's next on
Jana
your...
North. I love the idea of
Jana
having...
or Jana?
Jana North. I love the idea of having interchangeable dress parts. I agree that the dresses should be locked to each realm.
Yay, I'm so glad to hear that.
Woo-hoo.
Someone on my side.
Destiny Jensen. That's a great name. I really hate the locked dresses idea.
Get out, Destiny. Oh,
Destiny Denson.
Sorry, Destiny. I meant to say get out, Destiny.
If the initial experience is that important, maybe make them unlocked after you defeat the game. Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah.
Rugner's custom creations. I like the skull idea, and I like how the spade fits in the skull. Is that about the dress, or just like about your murdering tendencies? You like how spades fit in people's skulls?
Well, they mean the spade shape fits into the eye of the skull here.
I got it.
You did, okay, because it sounded like you were kind of confused about the reference there. Ah, boy, it's hard to tell sometimes. The Rune of Ordinary. Martin, I think you like to rock the Rune of Ordinary.
Do I? I am wearing green t-shirt.
I love this, though. The Rune of Overused Look. What is he trying to say? Omri, are you trying to say this dress is done?
Maybe.
The Rune of what? I don't see anything. I think these are quite funny. The Rune of Pretty. We know Omri wears the Rune of Pretty all the time, so alrighty.
In and out super chats.
Oh boy,
kind of a random question.
In and out. No, well, In and Out is famous for random questions and lots of them. I think In and Out might be partly to blame for why so many of our live streams kind of take forever to get to the end of.
Maybe he's just trying to put together like
writing a book.
Or just going to like increase the Wikipedia page on you.
The unauthorized autobiography of Mexican McGee.
Where was American when he found out John Lennon was dead?
Yeah. So John Lennon was shot to death. He was assassinated in front of the Dakota Hotel in New York in 1980 on December 8th. Now, my birthday is on December 13th. Ooh. And I was born in 1972. So that would have made me all of 9-ish years old at that point.
Right.
I don't know that I can say I remember exactly where I was when this happened. For some reason, I remember being in front of the television when Reagan was shot. And I remember going to my mom and saying that I thought it was funny. Like I was sort of giggling and laughing. I said, oh, look, the president's been shot. And and I don't know why I thought it was funny. I think the problem was I didn't get the context of someone being shot in that sense. It was like a public, obviously extremely public figure. But my mom sort of scolded me and said, that's not something we laugh about. And so I do very vividly remember the shooting of Reagan, but I don't so clearly remember the shooting of John Lennon. Do you?
No, I was even younger than you at the time. I think I was like 6 or something.
Wow.
So I was probably just playing with toys and looking forward to Christmas.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a sad thing, though. I mean, I consider John Lennon to be sort of one of the world's greatest rebels when it comes to not only music, but also spirituality and art. And so the fact that he was shot, I think, was, a sad day for humankind, not just obviously for his fans and for his family, but I digress. What do we got here? TR Lux 13.
Thanks for the super chat. I think it would be interesting to have gems corresponding with certain alchemy symbols, as alchemy involves using different elements.
Yes, I think we agree on this point, and we have said on many occasions that alchemy is going to play a very big role in the everything, basically. It links the stages together. It links the dresses together. It basically links everything together. If you go over to the Alice Asylum wiki, you can actually see the stages are broken down essentially as planets, and then the planets themselves are lined with various elements. So there's alchemy throughout the entire model of the game. So yeah, I think it would be interesting to have the gems correspond with alchemy symbols. In fact, the gems probably won't be gems in a crystal kind of sense. They will be elements or elemental gems or something like that. Ooh.
We also talked about having the symbols on patches, didn't we? That you could add to the dress.
We have talked about that. In fact, we have patches. There's some right there. Get out of the way, rabbits. There's so much crap here. I mean, this is the Mercury symbol done on an embroidered patch. And we have talked about making it possible for Alice to collect patches like these throughout the game and put them onto her dress. And then, yeah, look at that. There's a patch. That's pretty cool. Why does our whole desk area here look so satanic? I hope my mom's not watching. She's very sensitive about these kinds of things. Alrighty. We have another super chat. It's going to be difficult to get to the questions and suggestions if we don't.
Lucas. Asteria is going to guard the depression dress with a Dark Knight combat style. You have to defeat him if you want that dress, while Greg is shooting cannons
from the junk.
From the junk.
Wow, that's quite an imagination you got there, Lucas.
Where did that come from?
I think it's a riff on the fact of the dresses and how, who knows. I think Lucas may be smoking something.
Maybe.
Yes. Alrighty. Let's get into now Left Life Live.
Let life live.
Yay.
Let life live.
Thank you for the small super chat.
I believe.
Sorry to.
Yeah, that's below the threshold that super chat will allow text to be written.
This is true.
Hence, it's showing up in blue.
Yes. Sorry about that.
It's not us.
Life free. We don't have control over that. Okay, back to questions that. There's in and outs back
quickly. I promise not to bomb you with too many random questions. Just a few here and there, but I will not overdo it. I promise. Do we trust In and Out?
I do not. But I do really like In and Out. I think, again, I have to say it's one of the yummiest burgers in the world. So,
did I ask if we have an In and Out here?
I don't believe that there's an In and Out in China yet. No. We have Carl's Jr. and we've got White Castle just arrived a few months back.
Was that Carl's Jr. we had at the Expo place?
That was it. There you go.
It's all right.
Alrighty. Back into questions and suggestions.
Quickly. Melissa Chanyarlak likes the modular dress idea, especially for cosplayers. If they don't feel like making another skull, they can transfer their existing skull to another dress.
This is a good point. This is a very good point. I like the whole skull thing. I like the idea of people making these. That's probably an okay segue. What do you think? Into the fact that I just recently started messing around with physical making of stuff. We'll probably touch on this a little bit more later in the stream, but this is a skull. Speaking of skulls.
That has been cleft in twain.
It has been chopped in half right down the damn middle. And this is, I think, if you were a cosplayer, you might be kind of engaged in this kind of business of either taking a ready-made skull or making a skull of your own. And so I've collected together bits and pieces of dolls and skulls, and I think what I'm trying to do is a bit of doll maker work. I'm going to make some creepy art.
American is the doll maker.
I have become my own worst nightmare. Yes.
Another sort of super chat there from Mexico. Versailles Horowitz. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Again, it appears to be below YouTube's super chat threshold.
Well, but I do want to say it's very nice to see so many of our Mexican Alice fans joining the live stream today. Welcome to all of you.
Can we advertise over there for the stream?
Do not know. All right. What else you got?
What else we got? Gilded Moon Cosplay. Definitely wanting the dresses unlocked after the first playthrough. I play games for the aesthetics, and playing the game wearing whatever I want is a huge bonus. You will be allowed to.
We hear you on this, and this is why I was so I was trying to be so clear about stating that, hey, you will be able to wear any of the dresses once you've played through, because a lot of people are really, almost militant about this. This goes back to that sort of, it's my game, let me do what I want to with it, damn it. And I understand that a lot of people, feel that way. I like that. So, yeah, don't worry.
Don't worry, Gilded Moon cosplay. Tora's Y, our red dress cosplayer. Personally, I prefer to be able to choose which outfit to wear. However, I do think Omri has a good compromise with the old modular doodahs there.
He does.
Colby Dawson. I like the narrative bit. I don't know what that bit was in the post.
Well, I think what the reference is to is that you'd want to link the release of or the timing of the dresses to the narrative.
Oh, right.
So I have made this point multiple times that as the writer or one of the writers of this game, I prefer that I can control when you get what dress and when you wear those dresses because they are linked to the story. And so being able to, give the player the ability to just say, no, I don't want to follow how your story's going. Again, on the second playthrough, no problem. On the first playthrough, please don't do that. Yeah.
But goes on to agree. Unlocked after you defeat it once.
Okay, well, we're all on the same page there.
Tom Resnick is back with a vengeance. Gems could be interest as an amplifier of an ability, with the color representing either the ability's duration, intensity, or adding an effect to it, like adding fire to a weapon. Yeah.
Well, I do think that the idea we have is something along the lines of, it could be an amplifier to your weapons, but it's also going to be a particular ability or amplification of an ability. So, for instance, imagine if when you're wearing the rabbit outfit, the sort of the what did we call it? The rabbit plush dress, you can jump higher. It's a very simple thing, but of course it opens up a lot of areas in the game which might otherwise be off limits. And so now you've left that area, but you still want to be able to use that amplified jump. Mm-hmm. Well, then you just slot that gem in, and now you have the dress that you're wearing and whatever powers it contains plus the power of the high jump, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that's probably important to keep in mind is we might make it so whatever the base power of, say, the denial dress is, so that would be stealth perhaps. When you have the denial dress, you could still slot in another one of the gems. So now you'll have stealth plus, say, high jump. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
again, we have to be careful not to overcomplicate things.
Yes. Well, anyway, still a bit of time to figure that out.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I did see an unpaid chat or question go by, and this is one that you and I discussed this morning. That we do seem, it's appearing from time to time when people first get word of what we're doing, or maybe they've been following along for a while. And it's this one that Kitty C says, do we have a possible ETA for Asylum? So I do want to take one moment as an aside to make clear a point that I think we've repeated since the start of this adventure, but that I think bears repeating from time to time. If you go over to the Patreon page, it does outline sort of what it is we're working towards right now, and that is to get a license agreement in place with EA, which they have essentially, they've come to us and said, we want to give you a license agreement. So we are in the process of acquiring said license agreement, and we are at the same time out there talking to potential financiers and publishers, because EA will not be financing nor will they be publishing this new game. Well, this process, if you were to compare it, say, to what we did for Madness Returns. Madness Returns, it took us nearly 2 years to get the financing and publishing and all these agreements in place. And that was when we were working with EA directly, who they, as the financier and publisher at that time, were very interested in getting this thing done, right? They were a motivated party to the negotiation. That took 2 years.
And that took 2 years.
That took 2 years. So if you can imagine that the situation now is different in the sense that not only are we having to do a license agreement with EA in which they're probably less motivated because at the end of the day, the license agreement means less money for them, even if the game is a huge success, than if they had funded it and published it. But we're also out trying to ask various potential financiers for upwards of $30 million US. So this is not a process that we can make go faster. We don't have control over. We can't take a gun to one of these people and say, right, we're ready to go. Our fans are chomping at the bit. Let's get this thing done. Doesn't work that way. So I do want to state that in the meantime, what we are doing is, we're building a bunch of cool merchandise. That merchandise is built off the art that we're creating. The art is going towards the design that we're doing. The design is being guided by your input, the crowd design stuff that we're doing, all of the community and interaction that we have going on Patreon. And look, that could be another 6 months, and we'll pop up on here and say, hey, one of these financing guys that we've been talking to has pulled the trigger. Or it could be another 2 years from now. And 2 years from now, we might come back and say, we still can't find anybody who wants to give us $30 million. There are no guarantees here. But I will say that along all the various avenues that we're pursuing this, on the financing side, there is movement. There is interest. There are nibbles. On the side of the negotiation with EA, there is movement. There are things happening there. So I feel like we're making progress. And at the moment where I feel like, hey, you know what, we've really stalled painfully, and there's some problems we need to talk about, we'll come and talk about those, because that's part of this process as well. So I don't know, does that explain it pretty well?
Pretty much. I think most people kind of knew that, but there are always new people joining us who haven't been along for the whole ride, so it's good to reiterate. Yeah,
well, this is one of those kind of things I'll probably want to clip out into one chunk and then put up on YouTube or put on Patreon, just to make it really clear, because we're not trying to sort of hide the ball here. We're trying to be involve the audience and be as transparent about all this as possible. And I actually think that making the process of getting the game going, getting the development going, should be as interesting to the audience as anything else that we're doing, if you really are curious about how games get made. Now, it's like they say about sausages, maybe you like to eat them, but you don't want to see how they're made. If you're in that camp and you're like, just give me the game, then I would suggest, check out for a year, come back in a year, or just kind of pay attention loosely on my Twitter, and maybe there'll be some big news and maybe not. But we'll be here and we'll be sharing all this stuff with everybody. So there you go.
There you go. Very open of you.
Yeah. What does...
We missed one.
Did we?
Yeah. Lucas. Nardo wants to know about what blood physics will be used in Asylum. And no, I'm not smoking anything. Just had way too many root bears.
Okay, well, I don't think you should eat or drink root bears, especially not if they're still alive. You could end up getting mauled. And then as far as blood physics, I don't know if there's any sort of...
It's a little early.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just that there's not really like a blood physics package.
I bet there is. There'll be a blood splatter engine or plug-in for most engines. I'm sure they will.
I don't know if that even makes sense. I mean, are you just trying to say like gore? Blood physics. I guess there is something out there. Blood physics, Killing Floor 2 blood system. This is from 2018. So I guess there's zombie physics and things like that.
Fluid blood
Killing
splashes.
Floor 2. I imagine this is people who have seen some sort of blood physics in an existing game and they want to know how to recreate that sort of thing. But since we're going to be likely using an engine like Unreal, the answer here is that there's particle systems inside of Unreal, and you create your blood physics or your gore and your jibs or gibs or whatever. All that stuff is done inside the Unreal Engine particle system. So Unreal Engine, if we end up using Unreal. Will there be new weapons? No. Sean Carey.
Sean Carey, thank you for the super chat. Just curious, what does the 30 million go towards? What are the biggest costs to making a game like this? So that'll be the Coke and hookers.
The Coke and hookers. And he doesn't mean Coca-Cola like the fizzy drinky kind. Actually, it's a good question, and I always find it to be really shocking. And I think it's similar in the other projects that we've worked on. Even with Out of the Woods, the card game, One of the highest costs, well, the highest cost was shipping because that was a physical product that had to be shipped around the world. The second highest cost was
assets and art stuff.
So same is true when you have a game like Alice Madness Returns. That budget was for development. It was roughly around $10 million US, and I'd say that probably half of that or more went to outsourcing and then internal 2D, 3D, and animation. So art is probably one of the biggest cost sinks for any game you're playing, and I think this is why, like I've mentioned before, when you look at a AAA console title or PC title, that could be called something like asset tourism, because you're literally walking through the largest portion of the budget of the game. And so one of the reasons why you might say, well, like, why would this game, Asylum, be more expensive than Madness Returns? The reality is that on the core engine side, the programming side, the interactions and mechanical side, the cost may actually not be that much greater, other than accounting for the increases in the cost of wages as a function of inflation. So everywhere in the world, there's inflation and wages are going up. So, if we did Madness Returns 7-8 years ago, and then you've got sort of on average 3 to 4% or 5% inflation on salaries, every 6 or 7 years you're doubling up your costs. So there's going to be that normal inflation costs for the fixed portions of the game. But then for the art, a new game like this will probably require more art, and because it's the larger portion of the budget, it's going to increase even more than the fixed pieces of it. So yeah,
that's a $20 answer there.
Art, it would be the simple art. Yeah.
Soldier Dude 107.
Hey.
Thank you for the chat. Wanted to say hello to the men behind one of my favorite game series. Best of luck in making the latest game. And paying the $75 on Patreon just once, I'm guaranteed a Chaos necklace. Correct.
Well, not just the necklace.
No, it's just the necklace. It's not. No, it's the necklace and a print.
An art print.
Yeah.
What is this month's art print?
It's Sacrifice the Queen, or whatever it's called.
Right. Sacrifice Your Queen.
Right.
Would be the title of that. Speaking of art prints, do you know what time it is?
It's that time.
It's time for a prize, and we're going to be giving away an art print, but it's a mini art print of your choice.
Yeah, so this is just a selection. White Rabbit, Card Guard, and Cheshire. Is that the only ones we have?
That's not the only ones we have, but it's the ones we have here to talk about. So let's spam up the chat. You just tell us in the chat for your spam which of these is your favorite, either Cheshire Cat or the Card Guard or the White Rabbit. Spam up the chat with your favorites. Please don't send super chats in the middle of the spam storm because we will miss them.
There's one.
Yeah,
I think.
there's at least one. We'll try to get to these before they get scrolled off the. That's easy.
There's Bats and Tombstones, our Cheeto dabber. Thank you for that. Put this towards the Coke and Hookers. Thank you very much. We will.
Yep. Let's do these before they scroll away.
And Carlos Torres. Thank you. Have you guys ever thought about an Alice animation? Something like what we saw done with Castlevania, which I feel they did an awesome job bringing the game to animation.
Well, we did make some animated shorts with Alice Otherlands, and if you go to my YouTube channel, you can, well, you're probably on my YouTube channel because that's where we're streaming right now. But anyway, on my YouTube channel, type in Otherlands, and you will find some of the little animations that we did off the back of a Kickstarter some years ago. I have thought about doing more of those and would like to very much, but this also gets us into the topic of the Alice film rights. It's just very complicated, sticky, sucky topic, so we're going to probably leave that alone for right now. But yeah, in the future, I would like very much if we could do something along the lines of an Alice feature or an Alice animated project. I think that would be fantastic.
But for now, yeah, you could search for Night at the Opera and Leviathan.
There you go.
Those were the names of the Kickstarter animations that were done.
Yeah. So we're getting a bunch of responses on the contest spam. Cheshire Cat.
Chesh, Cat, Chesh.
Everybody loves the Cheshire Cat.
Cat Chesh.
The card guard isn't really getting much love. The rabbit's not getting much love.
It's good. I can understand it might not be to everyone's taste.
Yeah, well, Cheshire is pretty crazy. And, recently we did post up about the Cheshire Plush, and people went nuts about that. I think we'll get to that a little bit later in the stream.
Yeah, soon.
But we are talking about making a miniature plush of the Cheshire Kitten, and it looks something like this. And judging by the response in the chat here, I'm guessing that is going to get a huge response.
I think so.
Alrighty, you ready to roll it?
Go for it.
I think we're ready to go. Clown Cadaver. Why does that feel like a name we've seen before?
Yeah, we've seen that before.
Well, Clown Cadaver, congratulations. You have just won an autographed mini art print, and I think you've won before, so you probably know the drill. Send us your name, your address, your phone number. Tell us what art print you want, and please be sure to put all that in a format that does not cause consternation, frustration, or any sort of anger on our part, because otherwise we won't send it to you.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
There you go. Take that. Anyway, congratulations, Clown Cadaver. Do the thing. It's mysterious at AmericanMcGee.com, where you want to send all of that information.
Yeah.
All right.
Still hasn't said anything. Maybe they don't know they've won.
I think we're a bit lagged.
There it is.
There you go.
There we go.
All right. Let's get back into questions.
There's just 2 more on this particular post, and I guess we could go to art.
Let's do it.
Let's get through this. Alexis Chua, Wizards, again agrees dressers should unlock after you beat the game, so subsequent runs can be more customized, and enjoys the skull gem idea. So it would be a pretty new way of playing the game.
That's great.
And finally, Claire Turner liked having the different dressers in Madness Returns linked to what was happening in that area.
Correct.
So everyone kind of agrees with the way it's pretty much decided.
I hope so, because I don't want to keep coming back to this topic.
Yeah.
All right. So our good friend from Hamburgerland, In and Out, is back with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much. And he asks, what kind of computer did American own in the 80s? What kind of games did he play on it? So the very first thing that would qualify as a computer that I owned was given to me as a gift, and it was called a Timex Sinclair 2000. That was essentially a thing. Maybe it was a 1000. Was there no such thing as a 2000? It looked kind of like that. It was essentially a kind of fancy calculator you could plug into your television, and it allowed you to do some pretty basic, and also in BASIC, the programming language, but do some pretty basic programming. And you can see here it was sort of, well, that's not a very great, very big picture, but that was kind of, it was sort of 200 by 200 resolution and a line at a time type of stuff. So yeah, that was the very first thing I had. And I remember thinking that was pretty damn cool that someone gave that to me as a gift.
I also had a Sinclair as my first.
No way!
It wasn't a Timex Sinclair. I think that's an American thing. But yeah, I had a ZX81 as my first.
What is a Z? Is that like a tomato?
It's like a Z, but more correct.
I see. But then the first sort of really dedicated, I guess, gaming thing I had was a Omnivision. Was that right? I feel like it was called an Omnivision. No, it was something else. Anyway, I can't remember right now. But I don't know. That's so long ago. That was back in the time of the dinosaurs.
How things have changed.
They have. Alrighty. Thank you for that in and out. Let's get.
We missed one. Kalia Shea Woods.
All right.
Again, thank you for that. We appreciate them all. So thank you very much, Kalia.
Yep.
Trevor Dumont.
Thank you, Trevor.
Super chats as well, but no text, even though I'm pretty sure he could have.
There you
Let's
go.
have a look. Did Trevor write anything after that?
Don't think so.
Thank you anyway, Trevor. If we missed it, somebody say it.
Yeah. Oh, so somebody said Odyssey. That's what it was. I think that's what I had was an Odyssey.
Oh.
That was a gaming system, pretty sure. And that was the first. Yeah. I had one of these. There you go, an
That
Odyssey.
looks very similar to one that I had.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm telling you, do a search. Right, remember what that looks like.
No.
And now do a search for the Philips G7000.
Philips. Don't they make vacuum cleaners?
No.
Philips G7000. Video. Was it called a video pack?
Yeah.
Wow. It does look like basically the same thing. So
doesn't it?
It means that us Americans were playing on a Odyssey and you were playing on a Philips.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Who knew? Is it? No, I don't think they're exactly this. They are kind of similar. Were we being fooled?
Maybe.
Well, this is actually coming up with a Magnavox Odyssey, even though we've typed in Philips. So clearly there is some sort of familiar connection. Familial connection between these two. Okay, let's get into art review.
Okay.
Let us start maybe with the Cheshire Plush.
Is that where we're starting?
Why not? This is where the art review program has decided for us that we're going to start. Now, this was posted up on my Instagram, and we shared it in a couple of other places, but this is the result of several back and forths with our artists and with our insane children over on Patreon. And if you have been following us over there, or actually anywhere that I post stuff online, you're probably aware of the fact that we did a White Rabbit plush. Bzz, there he is. So he's a little White Rabbit doll. It's not the best way to show him off, is it? And so this guy, we made lots of them, and we sort of did the designs of these in collaboration with our insane children, and then we offered them up as a Patreon reward.
Patreon
goal. And now we are thinking about doing another plush, but this time it would be a Cheshire kitten, and it has a butt.
Yay.
Why when I asked who did this, then someone said Greg. Is that right?
Not sure. Maybe. Sounds familiar.
I mean,
Greg's all about the junk, not the butt.
Right. So it would have been Cheshire Kitten Junk if it had been Greg's suggestion. So anyway, this design is actually one of several iterations, and I believe that we're going to get one more variation on this, and we're sending this off to the factory. Now, a couple of the common comments I've seen on this, maybe you can share a few of the ones you've seen. People were saying, why is he standing up? Let him sit down. This is a production photo which is meant to show the proportions of the final product, this toy as it's stitched together. So it's put into this pose, a standing pose, because it allows the elements, his arms and legs and tail, to be stretched out so that the factory can see what he looks like. And if he were sitting down, it would hide a bit of the proportions, as you can see here. But the ultimate goal is that, like with the White Rabbit plush, you would be able to sit him down and pose him, and he'd be soft and fluffy and whatnot. Though I do think we're going to have custom eyeballs made.
Yeah, the eyes, I don't know, the actual shape of them.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people.
Sold. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I don't know how you'd fix it.
I've seen a lot of people talk about the eyes, and actually somebody, and I don't know where exactly it was shared, but I did see somebody post online a really cool. Oh, was it on my Instagram or it was on my Facebook? But anyway, somebody shared their revision of the art of the eyes, and they made them a little bit more kind of horizontal and a little bit less slanty, angled like this. So I think that is a comment we're going to take on board. And any other comments you saw that were kind of...
Well, I have a list here. It's a lot of text.
Okay,
so
well, let's hear it.
Where to start? Just people... Well, we've got Fred and Desiree here, just saying a plush for Chesh would be great. A good friend for the plush rabbit, and having inside a leather collector's bag purse would be great.
Right. There is a super chat we ought to address here really quickly.
You address that, and I'm going to quickly scan this to see if anyone mentions eyes.
Fluffy Rabbit sends along £2 and says, I got my plush today. Yay. That rhymes. So glad to hear that, Fluffy Rabbit. I'm hoping that you're enjoying its fluffiness and its softness. It's pretty turned out pretty cool, I think. So, yeah.
They do seem to be turning up now after that delay.
There was a big delay worldwide, but it's better. Now, Priscilla Nasoma sends along R, that's Pirate Cash, 5R, and says the plush art is cute, but I was expecting something more like the Cheshire Kitten image on the license proposal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are some changes that have been made here, and I want to stress we're going to make probably 3 or 4 of these things in physical format before we get to the final thing. Now, I don't remember. I don't know if you guys remember this guy, but I mean, this was one of the production samples that got made for the White Rabbit plush, and it's awful. And I'm really sad we never got the nuclear orange, the sort of dabbing bunny. It never showed up.
I mean, we had.
There are
those
two
ones
other.
Are kind of funny over there, but they're not as
funny.
good as.
Those are almost worth
Cheeto.
grabbing. I'm going to go grab those really quick, and we're going to address this. You keep talking so they don't get bored.
Hello. American hates it when I do that. But yeah, I mean, we're still getting feedback and tinkering with the Cheshire plush ideas. So if you do have concerns, let us know. We're going to read them all and take them all on board.
All right. So we've got 2 other. This was one that got made. Now this one's huge, and it's really. I mean, it bears very little resemblance. I guess they did get the sort of a bit on the
one
belly.
eye.
And he's missing an eye, but his legs don't bend. And then this one got done up, which there was something kind of. I don't know.
But still, I mean, they don't look anything like the pictures the factory was sent.
No. So my point is, I think there's wire in this one's ear. There is. But my point is, let's accept that a lot of interpretation is going to go in towards the sort of creation of this new Cheshire plush thing. And along the way, we may see stuff that looks radically wrong. I think we're going to have to trust that we all kind of have in our minds what the final product wants to look like. And I feel like this thing actually turned out pretty close to what we all had expected. But, I mean, obviously it took some pretty violent detours along the way. So this is part of the one. I love that one. I mean, this is all part of the process. It's all part of the fun. But thank you, Priscilla, for the feedback. Yeah. All right. Moving on.
Oh, what else? Oh my God, they're all coming in. Fluffy Rabbit. Not sure on the earring. Might be easily ripped out on the Cheshire plush.
Yeah, I mean, that's, a fair point. Until we get the final thing, though, we won't know. And so, let's see how it looks when it's realized in physical form. And if it is something that would be easily ripped out, we would not sell that. We would say, oh, this looks defective, and let's revise this. So remember that a part of the process is we will get physical versions of these things as they get made, and if we discover that this doesn't work, this is easily to tear off, or this is going to poke your eye out or something, we'll fix it. Yeah. Yep.
Sean Carey super chats. This one's for you, American. Did John Carmack personally teach you how to code in C?
He didn't sort of. I mean, he didn't teach me, because I taught myself quite a bit, but he did kind of guide me along. And I remember there was one book in particular that he gave to me. It was called Etudes in Programming, and it was essentially a series of exercises in writing programs in C. But at that time, I think it was in what was called ANSI C, which meant it was standard C. And so I did learn quite a bit from him and the exercises that he gave to me. I mean, one of the weirdnesses was that, the books that we all kept on our desk, of those, there were a series by a guy named Michael Abrash, who at that time was pretty famous in the industry for all of his programming, what they were called programming gym series. And then he came to work at ID. So, we had these big tomes of books that we all learned all of our programming tricks from. And then one day that guy showed up to work with us. So that was a little bit strange. Yeah.
There you go. There's definitely another one. Jennifer has arrived. Hello, Jennifer.
The bunny kicked Font Lord. They seem to like that. Maybe we could get more super chats if the bunny kicked you more often.
He's a good kicking action, actually.
He has a very good kick on him.
Truth Decay. Plush Cheshire design is a little more stylistic than I expected. Smile is a bit much. Could be a little more menacing.
Yeah, I think that there are a couple elements to this that we're going to fix. So I think, Omri will be listening to this, and we're going to let him know that, the eyes need to be straightened out a bit. The smile maybe needs to be made a little more sinister, a little less cutesy. This earring might get ripped out. One of the things that I've asked him to work on right now is better defining these tattoos for the factory, because actually I sent this image to the factory. And first thing they said was, "What's wrong with you guys? Are all foreigners weird like this?" And then after that, they said, "Hey, how exactly do you want us to handle these blobs?" They don't understand that these are meant to be sort of a stylistic reference to his tattoos.
Right.
And so they asked me, "How do we do these? And what are these?" And so I had to have a bit of a chat with them. And then we talked about, do we customize a fabric with a print on it, or do we have these put on as embroidered stitches? And so they're actually going to try to replicate these as stitching, which really kind of increases the complexity of the production of these things. But I think in order to get the result we want, we're just going to have to go there, which, that's okay. We'll figure out. We'll make it work.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Continuing, Priscilla Nosoma sends us 5.
You should auction the bunny of hell at some point.
Well, I just saw a little further up, Wendy J said they would give us $100 for the prototype. I assume they mean that one.
Yeah. Well, any of them. I kind of feel like these need to go into a museum here, though. Maybe when it comes time for me to move house again, because this happened last time. Like when we closed down the Spicy Horse office, I sold off a bunch of stuff. And when we moved last time around, I sold off some more stuff. So, I mean, there is a kind of purging of these things that happens every couple of years, but let's see.
But not yet.
Speaking of auctioning, this is it's another segue. It just reminds me that with this physical stuff that I want to make, that would be the sort of doll maker items. I was thinking, and I'm kind of curious to know, first of all, do people want to buy artwork that I'm hand making in this style? So this is sort of the doll maker's, one of his cases that's got dolls inside. So I'm actually in the process of literally recreating some of this stuff. And Joey sent along a collection of images to kind of, she and I are going to riff off of one another and work towards some of these ideas. So this is something that we're looking at. Look, why? So I think one of the questions is, would you, the audience, be interested in, and I mean like these will be one-off, right? So I'll make one of these, or maybe I'll make like a handful, like 2 or 3 of them, but they're all going to be handmade and they're all going to be quite unique. Would people be interested in these? And I think what I was thinking was we put these up with an auction system on Mysterious. And so you have to go there and you have to bid against other people for them, because I don't know how you price this type of thing when it's a one-off and it's art. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to know, are people interested in this? Are they still interested if it turns out that the auctions end up costing, a couple $100 or more per piece? I'd be curious to know the feedback on that.
Some sinister stuff in that picture.
I mean, I'm having so much fun with this, to be honest with you. I ordered up a bunch of bits and pieces, and I started doing a little bit of reference research. And I mean, me personally, I would love having these as candle holders in my own home. And so I'm ordering all the pieces to make this a reality. And Martin's seen a little bit of this in my workshop here. So this was, one of the attempts at just simply using this new bandsaw to cut a skull in half. And we got all these porcelain doll pieces. And I mean, I got to tell you, these are really creepy because they're made out of porcelain. So they kind of make a noise, like they click and clack. And when you touch them. So this is the skull getting cut in half. This is sort of, okay, there's a frame with some doll bits in it. But if you imagine all this now coated in like a black resin and made to look super demonic and creepy. And one of the things that I started working on was integrating light. So like, do you see these like LED candles here?
Mm-hmm.
So these are really cool because they move and they light up. And so if you can imagine these integrated into an art piece, but of course you wouldn't see these. These would be like under lighting stuff. And then, maybe there's black ooze coming out the top of the head of the dolls or the skulls. And we'll see.
We're quite far behind in the chat.
Yeah.
So we don't even know what people are saying about this stuff.
Okay, let's go have a look. Oh man, we are getting really far behind. Sorry for all the talking. There's just so many ideas going on. We're having too much fun.
I think you need to go a bit further than that.
I'm just seeing if there were any. There you go. Okay, what do you got there?
Well, we'll get to it, I'm sure. Tom Resnick, thank you for the super chat. About Cheshire's design, is it intended to be an in-universe style, meaning a doll Alice would carry, or purely as merch?
I believe this is a stuffed doll that Alice has, maybe in the asylum, or is given to her, or something like that. So just like with the White Rabbit plush, I believe there is a space for the Cheshire plush as an item that Alice in the real world would have carried or had. So that's a good question. But yeah, I've been thinking about that. And I've been thinking that it'd be cool to see this kitten plush somehow actually integrated into the story of the real world in which Alice lives.
Let Life Live, constantly asking if the White Rabbit plushies are still available.
Yes, Let Life Live. They are
over on
the
Mysterious
dress. If you go over there, go to your web browser and go to mysterious.americanmcgee.com, click on the little magnifying glass searching glass thing there and type in rabbit plush and hit enter, and then you will get there it is. Woo. Click on that, and then you click on add to cart, and boom, you're done. You'll get a White Rabbit plush, plus you'll get a bag, plus you get a code. Please note the code will be mailed to you via email when the game is released. Don't ask that question, please. They don't read that part. There you go. Let Life Live. You can relax on all the question marks now.
Chill.
Yes. Don't break that question mark key.
Are these people saying yes to the doll stuff? I think maybe this is the...
I think that's talking about the embroidery on the Cheshire cat. I don't know.
Brittany Mans, thank you for the super chat. Random question I forgot to ask last week. Would you ever make a glow-in-the-dark print of the Cheshire cat? Like his mouth and eyes glow. Also, happy Anzac Day. I love the idea of the Cheshire plush.
I don't know. Sure, we could make a glow-in-the-dark poster. We've never actually researched whether or not our print shop can do that, but we can definitely look into it if that is something of interest to all of you.
I mean, I even have the print shop guy on WeChat. I could ask him.
There you go.
Yeah.
Priscilla Nasoma, thank you, says...
correct me if I'm wrong, but I always thought Chesh was tattooed, not striped.
Yeah, that's correct. Those are tattoos, but we still have to figure out how to get the tattoos onto him. And as far as the factory is concerned, they don't care if those are tattoos or they are whatever. They need it explained to them, because remember, the factory in China, which is somewhere thousands of miles inland and probably views and sees very little of external Western culture, has certainly never, ever heard of our game. So we're basically, what's that called when you're manipulating something remotely? Waldos? I think that's the word for it. So
Waldos.
yeah, it's like robotic arms that you remotely control.
Okay.
Anyway, so we are Waldoing the factory into the development of this thing. And they don't care if we call these oil splotches, tattoos, stripes. It doesn't matter. All that matters here is where the rubber meets the road. How do we achieve the look that we want? And the achieving of that look has almost nothing to do with explaining to them that, hey guys, these are tattoos. That doesn't matter. What matters is getting the end result that we want. So yeah, we'll try embroidery because that's an option, and then the other option would be to actually make a print of the fabric on the fabric, and then it'll have to be all aligned and put together the right way, like a shell pieces, right? We're going to explore all that as we see fit.
Maybe Priscilla also means just in game generally. We talked about the concept that the Cheshire kitten was striped. But after the fire, the stripes were burned onto the skin as tattoos.
This part we haven't really settled on yet. But we'll look and see.
In and out. Thank you for the super chat. For the next contest, can you have everyone in the chat spam which character they would want Martin to voice in Asylum?
All right, we'll do
His
that.
His voice is freaking awesome.
Wow.
Is it?
Look at that love. Look at that love you're getting. Well, us Americans believe that anything, you slap a British accent on a garbage truck and we'd think that was a very cool garbage truck. So
it would be.
Yes. And you're not a garbage truck. So you're even cooler.
Wow.
Thank you, In and Out, for that kind compliment and that wonderful super chat. That is very kind of you.
Well, we are there.
We are, but we do need to get through the rest of these.
Okay,
and then
let's go.
All right, let's do it. Fluffy Rabbit says, do you know when the design book is coming? That's up to Martin. He needs to print those. Yeah. Write that down.
About that.
Truth Decay, regarding auction off art pieces, my wallet will hate you, but my soul will love you. All right, Truth Decay. And it does look like there is a lot of yes about me making actual physical art and auctioning that off on Mysterious. So there you go. Maybe I'll do that. Well, I am doing that. I shouldn't say maybe I'll do that. That stuff is getting made right now. Yeah. You know, my cleaning lady showed up the other day, and one of these things was like glowing in the workshop, and I know she walked in there and was like what's the cleaning lady on Family Guy? I think she just walked in there and she's like, "Oh, Mr. Peter, no," and then
she's called Consuela.
She's great. I love Consuela. Okay, so here we go. 10 a.m. and it is time for a contest. The challenge is to spam the chat with the character you'd like to have Martin voice in the next Alice game. So have at it, spam away, and we will be giving away.
Alice.
There you go. We will be giving away art prints of your choice, mini autographed art prints. I don't mean to say my autograph will be small. I mean to say the art print is small with a normal autograph on it. So there is a white rabbit, there is a Cheshire cat, and there is a card guard. And I think we may add some more of these to the shop. It's actually on my to-do list. But spam up the chat. See, I think you'd make a good nutcracker. I like that one.
No.
Superman,
no home.
No, Mr.
Remember that one?
No, Mr. Peter. Don't make satanic things in the workshop.
Yes, I should voice the Font Lord.
We could actually have a Font Lord in the game.
A shop of text and stuff.
Maybe the Font Lord could have a shop next to the doll maker.
Maybe.
Ooh, that's kind of an interesting one. I like that. Maybe we'll have to get Omri to do up a concept image illustration for the Font Lord.
I did sometimes ponder asking like Jen or someone to do like a little icon that I can use on my social media. It's like the Font Lord with someone in a bowler hat with a monocle made out of a Q.
That sounds really good.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Something ridiculous.
I think you should do that. Jen did recently do a Twitter kind of profile picture. I don't know what you call that. But she did one for me recently that was quite cute. That's basically me in a pirate hat. There you go. Let's go and see here. Web review.
Yes.
Yeah, so she did up this little pirate hatty guy here. He's pretty cool. I like him a lot.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
You could get her to do up a Font Lord picture like that for you. What do you say?
Yeah, there's Jennifer. I make good avatars, I hear.
She makes excellent avatars. Very, very good.
Shall we roll it?
Well, I want to see. They're all saying that you should be a doctor. You should be the dodo.
Dodo.
Maybe you could just voice all the D characters in the game. The doctor, the dodo, the dentist.
With a voice, the D.
The D. Why are you getting so many doctors?
I don't know. Maybe doctors with British accents are just trustworthy and I don't know.
But the doctor in the previous game was like the manifestation of evil. So are you sure you want to be a doctor?
I'm not digging that deep. I'm taking it as a compliment.
You could be a side boss where Alice remembers a piece of her father wrote to her, and she has to solve a puzzle. I like the idea of the Font Lord being a kind of boss that you have to. That would be awesome. We should actually have somebody do this up. Let's do it. Let's make the Font Lord a character in the new game.
Okay.
I think
Should I
everybody's on board with this, huh?
Should I make a note of that?
You should. Well, Omri will hear this, and Joey will watch this, and they'll come up with a Font Lord for you.
I wonder what the Font Lord will be saying in Joey's pictures.
That's a good
Oi!
one. Yeah.
Or something.
There you go. All right, we're going to roll it, and...
Roll it.
It's Slawek 382. Slawek?
Slawek.
Anyway, that's somebody that's never won before. Congratulations, Slawek. You have just won your choice of an autographed mini art print. And the way this works is you send an email to mysterious@americanmedia.com. You include your name, your address, your phone number, and you can give us your selection of a card guard or a Cheshire cat or a white rabbit art print. And we will have that sent out to you right away. So please... Martin should be the end boss, says Slawek. Are you just flirting with Martin now?
Maybe.
You've already won. You can stop that. So yeah, you have won. So mysterious@americanmcgee.com. Send us all your information. Do it in a way that doesn't cause frustration, and we will get your art print prize out to you with much haste.
Gotta give a warning before you put that up on screen.
Yeah, this is pretty damn awful. I'm not even sure what to think about this. Now, I've seen there have been a few comments where it's like, oh, she doesn't really look like the queen looked like before. And of course, I love that he's got Princess Amidala in here. And I tweeted I tweeted this image and I said, at least something good came out of these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch them recently?
No, let's not get into that. It's such a painful topic.
They're awful.
So this is the Queen of Hearts. This is a variation on the Queen of Hearts. Let's once again stress that this is all work in progress. This is not the final version of the Queen of Hearts. This is not going to become canon unless you complain too much. And then Martin and I will just snap our fingers and boom, this is the way she looks. But yeah,
I like it. Having like the porcelain face. I think it's written somewhere that when she's talking, it's like really unmoving, or at least like around the mouth, it's very subtle movement around the cracks. But then, screaming off with her head, it sort of just like cracks wide open, all the porcelain shatters. I think it's really good.
I think it's amazing. And I think we will, we'll have to kind of mess around and play with this. So this is what's underneath the mask. She's got a chunk taken out of her.
She's a hottie.
Yeah. So this is a bit from Omri, and he says, as is stated in the wiki, it's her attempt to regain control of Wonderland through the use of anger, violence, and power. She commands the Jabberwock and uses him to terrorize and incinerate her foes. On that point, I think that some of the recent art Joey submitted, it suggests that when Alice arrives in Wonderland, that the Jabberwock might be in some state of disrepair, damaged, or otherwise unable to function. And it could be that the mission that the Queen sends Alice on, and she then has to go and visit the Hatter, is all going to be about collecting bits and pieces to get the Jabberwock back into service, so the Queen can then employ him in her attack on the Red Queen. So this is all a part of the Game of Thrones-like drama going on inside of Asylum. The Queen of Hearts believes the Red Queen is responsible for the destruction of Wonderland and that Alice is one of her spies. And this is why she will take Alice's White Rabbit Plush
no.
as hostage. And so this is the King of Hearts head. I'm not sure why the King of Hearts head is here when the image that Omri did was of the Queen of Hearts. Or I'm sorry, this is the King of Hearts, right? This would be this Queen's king, her husband. Okay, so she's murdered her own husband, or at least taken his head off. He looks kind of like the Game of Thrones, the one that was demonically sort of.
All right.
Or no. I'm thinking of Lord of the Rings.
You are.
He looks like
crusty and.
Yeah. He looks like the crusty king that was. There you go.
That was the official name, wasn't it?
The Crusty King.
The Crusty King.
Yes. I heard they're making a new movie, Lord of the Rings Crusty King.
Oh.
Yeah. It's supposed to be epic. Anyway, she does take the White Rabbit Plush hostage, and that's how she gets Alice into her employ.
All right.
Yeah, so.
There was a super chat that went past. Tom Resnick back again. If you insist on her becoming canon, that Queenie image, we insist on Martin voicing her.
Ooh.
Do I have to do a girly voice?
Well, you just said that she's got like a concrete glass horrible voice. So, I mean, maybe you don't have to be a girl.
Maybe.
But you could go and take some voice acting lessons.
Could do.
You know, this could be like your side gig. We know that here in China, they do oftentimes hire Lao Wai.
They do.
Just to be Lao Wai. And if you had a silky, sultry, screaming mask of horror queen voice, maybe you could get more of those kind of gigs.
Maybe. It's worth looking into.
Interesting. You should look in the want ads and see if anybody's looking for a dapper Englishman with the sound,
I
the
did
voice
actually.
of the sound
I
of
just
Satan.
remembered a friend wanted some like children's books for her school.
Right.
Just like doing a little voicing. Each one was just like 10 to 20 seconds. So, being a nice guy, did that for her.
Did you do it for free?
I did.
You didn't even take a super chat?
No.
Oh, Martin. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I just remembered that. Did that like a couple of years ago.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Wasn't it?
Yes, that's very, very sweet. So that is the Queen. Now, he actually sent along a larger version of this. This variation actually shows her full body, and she is expressing body stereotypes of skinniness that I think we ought to be ashamed of. And she's also apparently wearing boobs on her head.
Heart boobs.
Heart boobs. Or fly eyes. There's something going on there.
A little buggy, don't they?
But she looks grumpy, regardless. I guess if you had boobs on your head, you'd be grumpy too.
Perhaps.
Yeah, so she's pretty freaking terrifying. I don't think we want to have to mess with her. But of course, when we play this game, we are going to have to mess with her. You know what would be funny is if during the scene where you first encounter her, we had like a bloopers or outtakes where she just goes into like a 3-minute monologue of like, the Imperial Senate has reckoned that the Intergalactic Trading Federation must immediately cease all right? I mean,
Who thought that people wanted to hear about trading federations and senates?
Terrible. Alrighty.
Super chat. PJ Calamity. Worth mentioning that the rabbit in the novel was the Queen's herald, so he too is in her employ, technically. Could be a connection.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of rabbits and hares and all kinds of things. There's the rabbit that Alice chases down the rabbit hole. There is the March Hare, who is present at the Mad Hatter's tea party. And there is also the White Rabbit. Now, the one that she chases down the hole turns out to be the one that's in the Queen's employ. That's the one who's late for a very important date. So there's a couple of them. And plus that, we now have Alice in ours having a White Rabbit plush to go along with it all. But yeah, I think that would probably be an interesting connection between the plush and the White Rabbit who is working for the Queen. And we'll have to figure out how that's going to work exactly. Someone has properly, a stereo visual, our friend, has properly titled that the Heart Boob Hat.
Okay.
Nice. Alrighty.
Excellent. Super chat. Carlos Torres, thank you very much. Now that you mentioned voice acting, you guys planning to have the same voice actors from Madness Returns on Asylum?
Yes.
Definitely Roger.
Roger's back on
and
board.
Susie.
We had Roger here on the live stream a while back.
That was a good live stream, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was.
He's fucking awesome with
He's
his
really
voices.
good. We need to get him back on again.
You should search the live stream. Go back and look at it. It's a good one.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Some old voice actors, if they want to be on board, there can be on board.
There you go.
In and out super chats. Do they serve orange chicken in China? This was last week's question. And I asked if orange chicken is just sweet and sour chicken.
It's kind of a yes/no answer. They do have sweet chicken. They have some kind of fruity sweet chicken. But I mean, the thing that you understand as orange chicken from, say, P.F. Chang's in the United States, that's a purely American dish. And it's so American that some cheeky American actually came from the States to China and opened a restaurant called Fortune Cookie in Shanghai. Now, I don't know if Fortune Cookie is still open or not, but I also I think it's worth noting that Fortune Cookies are not Chinese. I think most people, maybe a lot of people are aware of this, but in the States, every time you order out Chinese, you get, your little box of Chinese food and then you get a Fortune Cookie. Well, as an American, I grew up thinking that Fortune Cookies were a Chinese invention. It turns out that they're a San Francisco invention. And so when you come to China, there are no Fortune Cookies. So the idea that you would come to China and open a Chinese American restaurant called Fortune Cookie, anyway, that's what he did. He opened a restaurant called Fortune Cookie, and of course they had orange chicken, and they also had the other thing that we have in the States is called General Zhao's or General Tso's chicken.
Right.
It's a TSO. And that's a very orange spicy chicken thing I used to love to make when I lived in the States, and they definitely do not have that here in China. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. We need to get back to art review. Let's just go through this stuff really quick. This was page taken out of the book from the art book of Alice Madness Returns. And yeah, I was doing this, looking up some of this stuff as sort of a reference to his doll designs. And I was trying to get a couple of ideas for how I might go about replicating some of this stuff. I've still not decided if I'm going to poke my eyes out and have black ooze coming out of them, but for sure, we're going to do up some creepy little dolls, and we're going to have their brains exposed, and we're going to have black ooze coming out of their eyes. What do you think about that, Martin?
I think you should go for it. It's a good image, that. I don't think I've seen that one before.
That's from the art book.
Madness Returns art
Correct.
book.
This is absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a section in the dollhouse area of the game that actually has some of his art up on the wall. And then, of course, this is, I think, a piece of fan art that somebody did. And again, I really want to recreate these candle holders. I think those are super cool.
They are good.
What else do we have to show in art review today? This was the work that Jen did on a t-shirt. This will be the fourth prize that we give away today.
It will.
We've already done the Queen of Hearts. We've done her domain.
We can't have gone through all that art, can we?
I think we're getting there.
Oh, this.
So this was another piece of art that Alex did up, and then Jennifer stuck on a t-shirt. Now, I don't know. I think this is in the shop now. You'll have to go over to Mysterious.
It is.
Okay. Well, you have to go over to Mysterious and have a look, but I believe this is now a t-shirt in the shop. So
I do like that image.
yes.
It's I know Alex likes to put a ton of twirly detail in his stuff, but when it's a little more simple like this, I think it looks really good too.
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm always having to push him to be less detaily. And it's funny because the other day I was asking Jennifer to do these alchemy symbols, and it was like she had got infected by Alex's detail disease. And it's probably exactly right, because they were chatting on email about these designs. And I'm guessing that the detailed disease can be transmitted via email. So maybe we need to get a virus filter in between those two.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, let's take a moment really quickly to give a shout out to two of our favorite people. That would be our friends over at Freaky Fandoms.
Yeah. Look at this. Monster Palooza. So yeah, Freaky Fandoms is a podcast of cult movies, games, music type stuff. They're one of our biggest supporters, have been for a long time. So we like to give them shouts out as we're doing now. Monster Palooza So what is Monsterpalooza?
Well, I was following along as Deborah and Andrew went to Monsterpalooza. So it's essentially like a Comic-Con or it's an event where the makers of horror and monster fiction and get together with the fans. And so I follow Deborah and Andrew on Instagram and on Twitter and Facebook, and I was seeing them post up pictures from this event. And I have to say, I've never seen Andrew look so happy in my life because he was getting to take pictures alongside the sort of cast and the makers of all these amazing horror films. And so he was like a kid in a candy shop.
Right.
And so this podcast for this week, I think they're going to cover the time that they were away. They were actually traveling for around 3 weeks, and then they were at Monsterpalooza. So this week's podcast will feature the two of them having the time of their lives at Monsterpalooza. And as Martin said, they are our biggest sponsor, and you can check them out on Patreon, on SoundCloud. I think they're on the iTunes store as well, and links to their guys' Freaky Fandoms podcast is in the description below. So please go and give them a click and a listen, and we will be very thankful for that indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Super Chats In and Out is back. Jennifer from the chat says a lot of American Chinese food was invented during the California gold rush. They couldn't get ingredients from China when the railroad was being built. Is that true? Is that where westernized versions of Chinese food comes from?
I'd never heard that before, but I suppose that is possible.
I mean, in this day and age, you can get the ingredients, but the Chinese food in the West is still highly westernized.
Yeah, I always just thought that the Chinese food in the West was a function of people wanting to make the food sweeter and more fried and whatnot. But
no fat or gristle or bone in the meat when you go to a...
Well, that wasn't the case. When I was a kid growing up, there were Chinese restaurants in Dallas that were fairly traditional, and they didn't mind having the bone still in the meat. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think the question is the one with regards to all the sugar that goes into American Chinese food. And I don't know that this explanation really goes to that issue, but who knows? That might be an interesting topic for us to research. Maybe we can make a video game about that later on.
Maybe.
All right. Back to art review. I think we're getting pretty close to the end of what's going to be reviewed today. Now, this is, again, the bit of art that Joey did. I think I would be curious to know from those of you in the chat, if one of these things was going to get made, which one would you like to see made first? Well, not first, because I'm already working on 2 pieces, and I'm waiting for a whole blob of black resin to show up and some other bits and pieces. But which one is your favorite, Martin?
There's so many. Antlers for arms, you got hands for eyes.
Which
tentacles.
one would you hang in your house?
Oh, yeah. It might be a boring option, but, I used to love dinosaurs as a kid. So maybe that bottom left one.
Yeah, I actually really like these as well. And it got me thinking that I might have to bust out my 3D printer and also get into some kind of molding, that is latex mold making, and then the pouring of either porcelain or resin to create something along these lines, because I was trying to search online and see if there were sort of ready-made dinosaur bone kits, and I wasn't able to find much in the way of what I was hoping for. I was able to find a bunch of creepy porcelain doll stuff, and so there is, as you saw in that picture, there's a collection of that that's already come out. But again, here's one where we've got tentacles coming out of this doll. I think that all of this, the doll face and the tentacles, to some degree might have to be 3D printed. And then I can mold those, and then I could cast them in something that's a bit more durable than whatever comes out of the 3D printer. One of the things that she's got in here that she's suggested, which I'm actually a really big fan of, is the idea that some of this stuff is mechanical and it's moving.
Yes.
And so I have up in my workshop whole stacks of, basically Arduinos or programmable microcontrollers or Raspberry Pis. And so there's a bunch of stuff I could do with regards to sort of Internet of Things, plus the microcontrollers and making things move around. So in essence, making these into little animatronic bits. And I think that'd be quite cool.
It would be. I just realized why I quite like the one that's got hands for eyes. So it looks like they're doing jazz hands in the eyes.
Maybe we could have it where every time you say a certain celebration word, it does jazz hands.
Was it you who were telling me like people are doing jazz hands these days instead of clapping because clapping triggers people?
I thought we weren't going to get into politics.
All right, let's leave that
avoid
one.
That. So Truth to Case says with a $5 Canadian super chat that the jackalope baby clock, but needs to be functioning clock, and I would pay a king's ransom. I agree with you. This is actually, of all of them, this is one of my favorites, I think. I really like this. I like it for the kind of the design on the skull and on the face of the baby head. I like it because it could be a functional clock. So as soon as I saw this, I started thinking, how would I piece all this together? And I'm already getting all these ideas for the various elements that have to go together to make this work. So this one is also very high on my list. I think this would be really cool. And he says you would pay a king's ransom. Is that in Canada bucks or is that in...
It depends how much a Canada king would ransom for.
Alrighty.
Sean Carey, super chats. How have the people in China responded to the fortune cookie restaurant that American was talking about? I've never heard of that restaurant, but that's not surprising.
No, you've not heard of much of anything.
That's
so
true.
You'd have to get out of your house every once in a while. So I'm pretty sure that it died. And let's see here on a couple of these.
Let's say R.I.P. fortune cookie restaurant.
Yeah, so Reddit talks about it here. So there's a website we use. It's called That's Shanghai. And so they say, rest in peace, fortune cookie restaurant. So it's a sad day for General Cao. This was Shanghai's first American-style Chinese restaurant. And they're going to close. Apparently, they're going back to the U.S., but this is describing it as the popular restaurant, which it was in business for 4 years.
That's not bad going, I suppose.
No. It started in December 2011, and sounds like they did all right. Nobody commented on this, but it sounds like they did okay. I don't think that Time Out Shanghai just says closed. This venue has closed. I think this is pretty funny, though. Running an American Chinese restaurant, peddling notorious Chinatown staples in the middle of downtown Shanghai. I always thought this was super cute.
I would have liked to try their shrimp toast.
Yeah, I went there one time and I thought it was pretty all right. So there you go. This is Reddit talking about it. They're closing because they are getting the hell out of Dodge. I think they were actually doing pretty successful. So there you go. There is a $20 answer to your $20 question, Sean Carey. Go figure.
Go figure. Do anything else?
So people are just suggesting which ones they like the best. What is the general consensus here?
Triceratops one. Clock would be awesome. Jazz hands.
Which one is considered jazz hands? This one?
No, go up.
This one?
Yeah, the ones in the eyes. It's like jazz hands.
Oh, I see. Because they could be kind of jiggling back and forth jazz hands style.
That's
cool.
what it reminded me of.
All right. I like that. So what is the sense of which one we should do?
I don't know. It's all a bit mixed up here. People mentioning beer and chicken and clow.
Clow. I don't really know what clow is. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'll do the clock one maybe. That might be a little bit of a difficult project, but it would be fun.
How would they ship?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's actually a question. The challenge is in building them very sturdy, making them where they're almost impossible to be destroyed, which is one of the reasons why I'm going to employ a lot of resin in their construction. So, alrighty, it is, once again, contest time. So why don't you spam up the chat with which of these that you would like to see made. Okay. So have a look at your screen. And, you know, you could call, what would you call this? Jackalope hole? Cute rabbit, but the legs kick like it's trying to get through the hole. I like that a lot, actually. Baby with deer horns as arms. Yes.
Look at the face on that baby.
Look at the belly on that baby. So anyway, we are going to be giving away a autographed mini print. And in order to win that, you'll want to spam up the comments with which of these horrific doll maker decorations you would hang on your wall. And we will ask Nightbot.
Uh-oh. Super chat during the spam.
Yeah. Someone says, love the butterflies and your political views, Imprivis Gaming. Well, thank you for that. I try to keep my political views out of all this. I've noticed that there are people on Twitter who say things like, I don't want to know the political views of my favorite creators. And I've really tried to back off of sharing my political thoughts in recent months because it has just gotten so completely out of hand in the US. The dialogue there has basically just descended into a giant mud wrestling match. I don't think there's anything to be gained from getting involved in that, and we are safely insulated over here in China. cut off from the world. You know, there is a car here that goes under the brand name Trumpcha. Are you aware of this?
I know the brand Trumpchi. Because it was in an episode of Top Gear.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's Trumpchi. It's Trumpcha.
Well, that's how James May pronounced it.
Well, James May's retarded. Oh, my God. I'm not supposed to say that word. Anyway, so the Trumpchi is a brand. And every time I see this, it makes me laugh. I think that if you were to take this car and drive it around certain places in the U.S., people would probably firebomb it because it says Trump on the back. Look. And so there'd be all these people who are like, no, down with you, stupid Trump car. And then they would blow it up. But apparently this brand, this label, they are going to take these to the U.S. and they have wisely decided to rebrand these cars so as not to have them all attacked by angry anti-Trumpers.
It's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Well done, Trumpchi.
All right. So let's go through here. We're getting a lot of feedback.
Skulls.
Oh, no, I said the R word. I'm sorry, guys. Jester, baby clock, dino clock.
Fungal skull, baby antler.
Baby clock, jackalope.
Jester.
Alrighty.
Jester.
The flying thing. Yeah, okay. Funky Parsa cat. Yes, I know you've said this now about 1,000 times. And so it totally should be the griffin. Okay, your comment is noted. Now we're going to ask Nightbot to determine our winner. Here we go. Alvis Hamilton. Congratulations, Alvis Hamilton. You have just won your very own autographed mini art print. And the way this works, as usual, is you need to send an email to mysterious@AmericanMcGee.com. Be sure to include your name, your phone number, your mailing address. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to send your prize to you if you don't give us your address. People have done that. That is a thing. And also give us your selection of which art print, the Cheshire Cat, the Card Guard, or the other thing that I've already forgotten. And
White
also,
Rabbit.
Very importantly, make double sure, make triple sure to write all of that in a format which is human, font lord, and American legible, interpretable. Stick boy. Don't write it in a frustrating Trumpcha kind of way, all right? If you Trumpcha your address, we're going to burn it down, man. We are going to burn down your Trumpcha. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, so
that was it for the prints. The next prize is the big one, if you want to call it that.
It's huge. It's the backing up. There we go.
Yes.
I want to know why we never thought of doing this before.
Don't know.
You know, this is one of those things that sort of came to me in the shower.
Right.
Honestly, I was putting on that Chaos t-shirt, and I was thinking how much I love that shirt for the material, for the logo. And then I thought, oh yeah, maybe I'll ask Jen to do up a whole series of alchemy t-shirts. And then I thought, why haven't we done because it was the alchemy symbols on the pockets. It kind of like tinged in my head.
Right.
And so I just thought, whoa, wait, we make t-shirts. Why don't we have Jen do this? So this is like a full wraparound print, which I think Printful only started offering as an option quite recently. So that might have been one of the technological limitations to us not having done this sooner. But this is fantastic. We're going to have to order some of these and wear them on the live stream, don't you think?
Maybe.
Yes. So yeah, that was a shower thought. And there it is, now realized, thanks to the handy pixel work of our favorite artist. Okay, one of our favorite artists. I know we get in trouble when we actually say someone is a favorite. Someone always gets offended by that.
Priscilla's not a fan of this shirt.
Really, why?
Says it's horrible.
Why is that horrible?
I don't know. Maybe she's being sarcastic, but there was no /S.
That's interesting. Don't know about that. Okay, let's get back to art review. I think we're almost finished with art review. Do you have any more questions and comments to cover?
I do.
Okay.
Luckily.
Well, let's just quickly scroll through the rest of this. This was... Oh, yeah, there is one more bit we need to look at. So these were the bits that Alex did that can become shirts, and I think those may be in the shop now. This was important to discuss. This is the bag. This is the bag that the Cheshire Cat would potentially come in. And the way that was going to work, on one of our most recent posts I did up over on Patreon, I mentioned this. Here we go. So this is the post in which we discuss the Cheshire Kitten, the plush, right? And so our insane children were having a look at this, and I shared this image. This is a nylon, I guess you'd call it a shopping bag, basically.
Right.
It's a reusable shopping bag, but we can get this made up in super high quality, and we can do a print on it. And so I asked Alex to have a thought about what would go on that bag, and there you go. That is side A, side 1, the front side. The face side. And this is, it would be really funny if it's like on the front was this face, and then you know how they like to do those little butthole? It would be funny if this side was just like the back of the Cheshire Cat with a little X in the middle. That's terrible, Martin. Why would you think of something like that? Okay, so anyway, this is the Cheshire Cat. This would be the bag that the cat arrives in, the kitten plush. So it's like the same we did with the White Rabbit plush. Martin, can you hold up that there canvas bag doohickey, please? This was the White Rabbit plush that we sent out, and it came in its very own canvas bag. That was an inmate property bag, I think is what it was called, and it's got prints on both sides. Again, done up by Alex. So
sturdy.
It's super sturdy. We took the world's entire supply of canvas. I don't know if you know. That's why the Bethesda guys ran out of it when sending the Fallout canvas bags to their loyal customers.
It was our fault. Sorry.
It was our fault. So then on the back of this, he's done up a Cheshire head and a paw print. The paw print was my idea. I don't know that that's the best idea.
It's all right.
And so he's done a variation on this. Now, I like this. I like gray on black. Without the red. What do you think?
I think I prefer the red.
I'm curious to know what our chat thinks here. I tend to go towards subtle, and I like I like the idea of him being kind of hidden.
It's a little too flat, I think.
Yeah, well, let's hear what the chat has to say. So that would be side B, the back side with the paw print. And then he's also done up a variation on that in gray. So there's a red one and there's a gray one. If I had to choose for myself what this bag would look like, it would be this. It would be black with gray on both sides. But I like subtle.
Most people are saying keep the red. I think one person so far has said no to red.
All right, I'm turning off the VPN now. How dare you disagree
have a
with
super
me?
chat from Priscilla that went by.
Let's see what she says.
Get to that.
Hello, Priscilla, the
Nosoma, the shirt hater.
That pawn just killed me. Does she mean paw?
I think she means paw.
Okay.
It's a good paw. You know, a cat print paw is kind of a cute thing. Yeah,
I see.
I like that side of the bag.
The paw print, yeah.
We need red.
Okay, so there's a couple comments I want to make on this. First of all, I feel like his head is smushed up. It's like his eyes are too low down and his brow is too long.
Right.
And I think that was done in service of a sort of desire to create a circular symmetry. Okay. And I feel like that's wrong. I'd like to see this all moved up a bit, because I don't think his face is really supposed to be that shape. Is it? It's looking a little too... Something's not quite right. So if you look at the art print of him, so he looks kind of like that. I think Alex will probably come back and be like, dude, it's all based on the same underlying file. It's probably true. Something about this one, though, looks better. It looks like the top of his head's a bit flatter.
Right.
It looks like his forehead is not anywhere near as elongated in this as in that. Can you see what I'm talking about?
I can see.
Okay. Anyway, so I'd like to see that head adjusted a bit.
Right. I guess when you zoom out, it's pretty noticeable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, so
keep the red. Face is too round.
Yes, I agree the face is too round. I think we all agree the face is too round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we'll do is we'll collect together all your comments and we will make some adjustments to this stuff. And it'll get made into some samples and we'll be able to do a full-on review. But as with the White Rabbit Plush collector set, there will be these two elements at least. There will be a cat, Cheshire Kitten cat plush, and there will be a bag in which he is delivered.
Yeah.
So those two things together are going to be pretty damn cool, I think.
I think so.
One of the questions is going to come up is whether or not we link this to something in-game. Because so far we've done that. We've got a Chaos coin that links to something in-game. We've got a White Rabbit plush that links to something in-game. And so what is this going to link to that goes in-game?
Maybe nothing. Maybe it's just a plush.
Let's see. Tom Resnick,
thank you for the super chat. I think if the nose was moved down to rest just above the mouth, it'd read more as cat than dog. Otherwise, it's nicely styled. Let's have a look.
More cat than dog. I wasn't really reading it as... Oh, I guess I see what he's saying. It does feel a little...
Greg,
I mean, this actually looks more like a bat to me than a dog. Yeah.
Greg also mentioned his teeth weirdly go up in the middle.
Yeah, it's just off. Alex, apologies for the effort you put into this, but there's several elements in here that are not right. So yeah, the teeth going up in the middle is a little strange. The shape of the head is a little too round. The position of all of these things on the face is a little too low. So I think you're going to have another stab at it. But it's cool. I mean, it's, and it's definitely in a style that screams Alex Crowley was here.
True dat.
Very cool. I really like this. I like the paw print a lot.
Yeah.
It's a cool one. Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Tom, for that.
Is that all? Oh, another one. Alice on Elm Street. Didn't we get that one? Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. I like the grey. Elegance in simplicity.
Yeah, Alice on Elm Street is my friend. Thank you.
Brown nosing.
Well, gray nosing is in fact what she's doing.
Gray nosing.
Yeah, I really like the gray one as well. A lot of times I wish that we were in a position to offer a choice on these things, but Martin and I can both attest to the fact that it's already difficult enough making these things work, whenever we start to introduce the concept of sizes or color variations, life gets very difficult for us very fast. You have to remember that you're basically looking at the team here that have to execute all this stuff. So obviously makes us happy, but when like 3,000 of you order one of these things, it creates more than a little bit of work.
A little bit of admin needs to be done to make sure everyone gets the right stuff to the right address.
Exactly. Alrighty, I think that does actually bring us to the end of art review. I do want to take one moment, though, to mention that we have been doing crowd design over on YouTube, and that's actually via our Discord server. And during our crowd design sessions, we talk about all of the topics that are contained on the wiki. That's at AmericanMcGee.com. And on the wiki, there is a whole section dedicated to the suggestions that the community have made, the fans, the insane children, about what would be contained in the new game. And so you go over to AmericanMcGee.com, click on wiki, and you will see community ideas and suggestions. And in there's whole lists of the kinds of things that all of us might like to see in a new game. And in these weekly crowd design sessions, what do we do, Martin?
We usually get through 13 points. That's what we do.
Magically.
We just discuss the points, so you can listen to American and me and some of the mods talking about the points. But you can also join in. There is a text channel that you can type in, and if you have a microphone and want something to say, you can join us in the live chat. We will activate your mic, and you can actually be part of the chat in the stream, the Discord stream. So, yeah.
And last week's topic was around gameplay. Actually, the last 2 weeks. This was episode 8 and 7. We talked about gameplay suggestions, and we always have quite a lot of fun doing those. I'm always very impressed by the level of creativity that is brought to the table by our insane children. So do join us. The more the merrier.
Please do.
All right. Alice on Elm Street is back with a bit more gray nosing.
Maybe a darker red, something less bright.
Well, now we're getting into what is the humorous sort of mirroring of an art director's worst nightmare. It's the client who comes in and says, maybe a little bit darker red.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's always, let's not do that.
Fluffy Rabbit is, where is it? There you go. Thank you for the super chat. When you meet the Cheshire, you get something extra. Or what about a new bow to sneak?
Uh-huh.
Bow on the back of the dress?
Maybe the bow on the back of the dress is what's being referenced there. Could be.
Maybe.
I'm not quite sure I understand how that would how that works, but okay.
Yeah, we've got to figure out how these things would work.
Thank you for the super chat, though.
Thank you. Bats and Tombstones, thank you for the super chat. Make a Cheshire onesie.
Oh,
to
wait
go
a second.
with it.
Now I understand what's being said there.
Oh.
Sorry, I wouldn't want to, what is the pronoun for rabbit kind? Anyway, the rabbit kind there is suggesting that if you got the Cheshire plush, then the in-game element would be like something that allows you to sneak.
Ooh, right.
A Cheshire bow. Maybe the skull is what's meaning to be
That gets into the realm of some people having extra powers that other people didn't have.
And that is a big no-no.
No.
Okay.
Bats and Tombstones. Make a Cheshire onesie to go with it. A Cheeto Cheshire onesie, perhaps.
Cool.
We do. I mean, have we looked into that?
Not yet.
We mention it.
We need to do that.
Yeah, that would be good. Then we could do a stream in the onesie.
I don't know. I think a lot of you may know this. Maybe you don't. My wife, who's now my wife, we just recently got married, but she's a banana. But she's also pregnant, and so my pregnant banana, she is due in September. And when that happens, she's going to be taking a bit of a maternity leave, and at that time she will be bored. She's told me that she likes going to work, she likes doing what she does. She's a fashion designer, and so we have discussed the fact that while she's on maternity leave, in those 4 months, she is going to work on all kinds of products for Mysterious. And because her forte is fashion, there will be things like onesies coming out of that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I look forward to having one.
There you go. Do you look forward to sharing this studio with a child?
No.
No, come on. You can have the child on the live stream. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Priscilla sends along our pirate $5 and says, we need that rabbit onesie now and a Cheshire one too. I agree, Priscilla. And so one of the things is, though, there's only so much time that we have. But once my pregnant banana pops out a baby banana, she can then help us on working with the manufacturers and doing up the designs for things like onesies. So there you go.
You missed the chat.
No.
Yep, there it is. Brittany Mans to Cheshire onesie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we'll work on that. Somebody wants a butt flap. Stereo Visual wants a butt flap.
I've got to be able to go to the toilet.
Well, I mean,
Without
that is a
taking the
very
onesie off.
Chinese. That is a very Chinese thing, actually. It's the Chinese child butt flap. I mean, well, it'll actually come up like that, and I don't know, if this is something that people in the West have seen a lot of, but for sure, here in China, you'll be walking around and you'll see that children are sporting clothes that have these little flaps on the back or little openings on the back. So they can take care of their business. And yeah, if you guys need a butt flap on the back of your onesie, just ask and we shall do it.
Mr. Meeseeks onesie.
Oh no. This is a very common sight, though, is to see children with these pants that are open in the back. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. This is common, too, is to see Chinese parents who just hold their children up in this fashion. Now, this is not nice to do this on the subway. I was actually sat in a restaurant once, and there was, at the front of the restaurant, it's like a glass wall out onto the sidewalk. And we were sitting there eating, and a woman walked up to the glass wall, held her child up to the wall exactly like this, and proceeded to have the child pee on the wall right where we were sitting.
Nice.
On the outside. And I looked at her and I tried to kind of give her that well, you know how this works. You try to give them that eye of like, hey, that's not the way that's done here. And they just look back at you and smile. Yay. What are you talking about? Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Alrighty.
So, yeah, we did that one from Priscilla.
It likes to hop. This
It
chat
does like
scroll.
to. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Is there another one above Ice Killer? No. Ice Killer. Super chat. I think it's about time you do an EU-friendly crowd design discussion so the EU fans can take part. Good point, actually.
Okay.
There's a note here.
Let's do that
for an EU
next week
video.
Let's do it next week.
Do hickey.
Alrighty.
But,
so next week is going to be. Oh no! Wait a second. We can't do next week. Next week is a weirdo week. There's a big holiday next week.
That means we can't do it.
We could do the live stream, EU live stream. I don't know that. I'm sorry. We could do the crowd design session. I don't know that we're going to do a live stream next week. There's a 4-day holiday. Anyway, we'll figure this out. If all that stuff is happening, it will be EU time zone. How about that?
All right.
We'll try to make it happen.
Just for you.
Ice Killer.
Yeah.
our favoriteest fan, who I'm sure that if we met him would not kidnap us and take us to a cabin in the woods
and kill us with ice.
No, he would not do that at all.
Taylor Goen. Thank you for the super chat. Put your baby banana in a rabbit onesie.
We're going to do that. And I plan on outfitting the child's room with creepy toys. Actually, this is one of the reasons why I've been thinking about doing these bits of art, is that I'm interested in decorating the room with some kind of semi-creepy, like I don't want my kid to grow up normal, and China is, if anything, it is actually very conservative here. It's very normal here. So when you go into the typical Chinese home, you're not going to see sort of weird art, and you're not going to see weird things on television in the movie. I mean, when I say weird, there's not like a Chinese equivalent of Marilyn Manson, right? There isn't a kind of alternative culture. It's very rare, actually, in Shanghai to see sort of dyed hair, mohawks, ripped jeans. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I think I want to make sure that the kid gets proper indoctrination. Yeah.
Ooh, it's jumped again. Truth Decay, thank you for the chat. Just curious, any progress on McGee's Alice Kingdom theme park extravaganza in non-firewall land?
That is still a very big work in progress. I'm trying to see if any of the pages from that pitch are in the folder here, but I'm not seeing them. But but the answer goes back to what I was saying earlier in the stream about just the number of things we're working on to make all of this a reality. And so there's the licensing, there's then also things like talks with the Thai government to go and start a studio there. There's talks to potential financiers. I mean, all these things have to kind of mesh, interconnect, but there is progress being made on all that. But probably the biggest thing right now that blocks any sort of movement on building a new studio would be funding. And so there are a number of funding related conversations happening at the same time. Some of them slow down, and then other ones speed up, and then those slow down, and then other ones speed up. And so we just kind of have to play it cool. And one of these days, someone will write a check and we'll go and start it. But
one of these days,
for sure, I imagine that the core team is going to be in Thailand. I think just economically and for a lot of other reasons, that's going to have to be the way this goes.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
I think another one came in.
That little jump that it does is really annoying.
We've got to keep an eye on that. Tom Resnick, thank you for the super chat. Put your baby banana in a rabbit onesie. Sounds super suggestive and hilarious.
Right.
I guess. Also heard anything from Chris Vrenna.
Right. So we had Chris on the live stream a while back. He had
a good stream.
That was good. He had at that point recently moved to, was it Kentucky? No, Nashville, somewhere. But he took on a professorship at a university teaching music, and he was quite happy about that. But at that time, he did say that he was fully on board for doing music on the new Alice game. So besides that, we've not really caught up with him, but everybody's busy and there hasn't really been much reason to catch up with him, but we could always invite him back to have a little bit of a chat and see how he's doing. I think maybe it would make sense to do that with Chris and also with Roger Jackson. And we recently brought Norm back on that's doing artwork for us. It might be interesting to have a chat with him and see how he's doing. So maybe we should work on that. We were saying that after today's live stream, we were going to do a little bit of remodeling on our studio.
Just a little tidying up.
And maybe while we're doing that, we can also sketch out a schedule for some guests and for some EU streams. And there you go.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay.
There's a lot of laughing going on, apparently.
Ooh, who are they laughing at?
I'm not really sure. Lucas says, I'm laughing so hard right now.
I think it's the baby banana thing.
I think the baby banana has set everyone off. Okay. All right. We are now coming up to the end of the hour. And do you know what that means?
It means it's almost 11 a.m.
Well, it means we're going to be giving away one of these classic Alice blue dress thingies. So what are they going to spam?
Something about a baby banana?
They could spam some potential name ideas for this child. Yen and I have been semi-jokingly referring to her as Lily, but we don't actually know that she is a she. Oh. Turns out that in China, you are not allowed to go and get the gender of your baby given to you, because they're concerned that if you find out that it's not a boy, that you might just get rid of it. So why don't you give us some names? Could be boys' names, could be girls' names, but spam up the chat with your ideas for potential names for a little baby American McGee, be it a boy or a girl, or it could come out as a girl that identifies as an attack helicopter. We just don't know.
You can only hope.
We can only hope that I would have a baby attack helicopter.
So what have we got then? Depending on how far
England.
behind we are.
Lilia.
Lilith.
Bananalis.
Lilith's good. Kind of creepy.
Well, Luna says, I thought you liked Liam. I like Liam. I think we also said Eli. I quite like the name Eli for a boy.
Obnard.
Now, it would be funny is if this thing came out and we named it Chinese. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And then it could have
as well.
It could have a child later on and it's born in another country and name its child after that country. So Nathaniel,
Cheshire.
Alice, that
Eris.
would no. So I have an ex-girlfriend named Alice, and for sure my current wife would not allow me anywhere near naming a child Alice. So let's not do that.
Ziggy.
Luna, Lulu, Luna. Yeah, Luna's okay. But yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to stop suggesting Alice because that's just never, ever going to happen.
Lotus.
Name my child Bumby. That would be... I don't think so. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Adam. There's a lot of sort of like Bible-y sounding stuff. Adam, Lilith, Eris.
Well, I like Bible-y stuff, though.
Yeah.
I think that could be all right. Alistair, that's a fairly creepy name. I like that, okay. I mean, we've already said Lily, so maybe that is just a vote for that. Rachel Garza thinks we should name the child Ha Ha Ha.
Ha ha. McGee.
Ha 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 McGee. That's an interesting one. Malleus, I quite like that. That was a name that I actually gave to a character in the Oz adaptation that I did years and years ago. It's actually the username that I use on one of our servers as well. I probably shouldn't say that out loud.
They're going to hack stuff.
Somebody has said Alicia. Again, Alicia is the name of an ex, so that's not going to work. Let's stop coming up with names of my exes. Alicia is right off the list, as is Alice. Let's not do any of those. I think Malleus is a good one, though. Moody Duty.
Moody Doody McGee.
Of course, that's Salah. Of course, he would be the one to come up with Moody Duty. Smalley McGee. That's okay. Mary. I have a sister named Mary. That's probably not going to be.
Ruby.
Mercy is also my sister's name. I have a Mercy. Well, she's not around anymore, but yes, that is a potential one. Lily.
Osiris.
These are all okay. Chester has popped up a few times there. Well, guys, I don't know that I've seen one that really sticks out here, but let's keep it up. Maybe we'll come up with we'll crowd design the name of my child. That sounds excellent. Alrighty,
let's roll that doodah.
Here we go. We are going to be giving away a classic Alice blue dress shirt to Carlos Torres. I'm hoping that's a new name.
It is.
So, Carlos, you have just won a classic Alice blue dress shirt. And the way this works is that you need to send an email to mysterious@americanmcgee.com. And in that email, you'll want to include your name, your address, your phone number, and you'll also want to mention the fact that you've won a classic blue dress shirt, and you're going to want to tell us which size you want.
Yes,
small, medium, large, extra large, or 2 extra large. I hope that Carlos gets the message. It would be sad if this went to another one of those kind of ghost people who doesn't ever pick up the prize. It says he won last time. If he did...
No, last...
It was a Carlos with a Z last time.
Yeah, it was Zamora. Sounds like some Guardians of the Galaxy.
No,
it was a different one.
It was a different Carlos that won last time. So apparently Nightbot likes people named Carlos. Maybe I should name my child Carlos McGee.
Maybe.
The littlest amigo. I see. Carlos
McGee
says, got the message. There you go. Well, congratulations, Carlos. Do the thing. mysterious@americanmcgee.com. Name, address, phone number, the thing you won, and the size of the thing that you won. and we will get that sent out to you right away. Is there anything else you would like to say before we finish up the live stream today, Font Lord?
Still got some questions. I mean, you could go through a few of these, but
Let's do it. Come on, make it happen.
All right, so let's go for the one that was on the Easter Bunny Killer post.
Okay, let's do it. Easter Bunny Killer post.
Let's just plow through these. Jessica Martinez loves the bag and the butt. Definitely feeling the plush more now. All right. Marcus says that they would buy a whole line of plush toys, but is not feeling the butt.
Oh, wait a second.
Unless it's stitched.
Somebody has just given me the name that I love the best.
Crouton.
No. This person, One-Eyed Skull says, boy.
Boy.
Boy McGee.
What if it's a girl?
Too bad.
So boy.
Your name is Boy.
Well, that was what the kids were called, wasn't it, back in the day?
It's what I was called. As a child, I was called Boy.
No, wasn't it? Was it girl was a generic term for all children, or boy? They didn't differentiate back in the day.
I think, I'm not sure, but yeah, I was often referred to by just simply Boy.
Oh, go with Crouton.
Crouton McGee.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Brittany Mans sends along a super chat and says that I'm assuming she is going to go see Avengers Endgame. Wow.
It's out now.
I heard it was awful.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
I did. Twitter told me.
I've been staying away from info about that. I think I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Oh, well. So, Fluffy Rabbit, do you have any of the licensed books there? I was wondering if we could see inside. We sell those on Mysterious, don't we? Yeah.
License proposal booklets.
Yeah, we do have them.
So there's some images over on Mysterious of what it looks like inside.
Yeah, go to Mysterious and you can actually look up and see what it looks like on the inside.
While that's happening, Taylor Goen super chatted asking if there will be shirts of other dresses made. See how this one does, maybe.
Yeah, let's see how this does. I think that'd be kind of fun. So to that person's question about the license book, there it is. It's on Mysterious. And that's what it looks like on the outside, the inside, and that's what it looks like with Lulu posing next to it. Lulu. Alrighty.
There you go. Dorothy Harmon suggests for the plush the eyes and teeth could be more sinister. Something about the eyes seems off, but maybe once made it would look fine. Yeah, we know the eyes are a bit dodgy.
Yes, we do. We understand that.
Benjamin Kruger says loves the idea of a nylon bag that could be used every day for grocery shopping, stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot myself, and that was why this time around I like this canvas bag that we did, but I feel like if it was going to be functional for like everyday grocery shopping type of use, it needs to be bigger. And
yes.
And then also I think that the kind of handle is on this is more kind of fashion-y. It's not so practical. So anyway, we'll see.
I'm going to skip down a bit.
Go for it.
To Ina.
Yes.
I use the Rabbit property bag regularly. And my only problem with that is that things like my travel card, phone, keys, wallet gets lost in its depth. So if the Cheshire bag is supposed to be for daily use, I suggest making a small pocket up near the top of the bag.
Well, actually what I wanted to do was that there's a pocket that the bag itself can be stuffed into when you are not using the bag. This is important to me, but the thing about a pocket like that, you put a pocket somewhere up here, and it's got a little flap on it, but it's like it's done so that the bag can be stuffed into itself. So this bag can be stuffed into the little bag, so now the whole thing fits kind of in your purse or your pocket, and when you go shopping, you don't have to carry around this whole giant bag. But anyway, that little pocket on the inside also doubles as like a key or wallet or whatever pocket, right? Yeah. So I'm going to make sure that we make this bag super functional. It's going to be cool and it's going to be functional. So there you go.
There you go. Bryce Thompson. I saw Bryce last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, still wandering around, being drunk. He's just staggering around.
It's not the same Bryce, is
Different
it?
Bryce.
Are you sure?
The name reminded me that I saw him toddling around. Bryce Thompson says, I, for one, love the Cheshire plush. It's strange seeing Cheshire stand. Yeah, everything in Wonderland is strange. Kind of covered that earlier.
Yes, we
did.
did.
It's not standing. It's just a picture.
There you go.
There's another one from Rugner's Custom Creations.
Yes.
I wonder what Rugner makes that is custom.
Alrighty.
I'm not sold on the plush. It's better, but not making me want it the same way as the rabbit. The flatness of the face doesn't help. Of course, there was a reason for the rabbit. The plush seems to be just because.
Oh, just because. Oh, no. Let's not do things just because.
Rugner's being mean.
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, you know, this is always a part of the process, though. I think, you know, we see this every time we do any kind of crowd work, like crowd design on these items, is that I think people sometimes jump into it, and the way that they comment maybe feels a little less charitable to us, or it sort of seems not to recognize that this is a sort of long-term iterative process. It's not that, oh, here's the design and this is done. We still have probably months in front of us before we figured this out, right? So yeah, I mean, feedback is great. Let's keep it going.
Yeah. Kenna Swaley says 10 out of 10. I need this plush in my life.
So
Good.
One-Eyed Skull says, yes, I'm Bryce. All right.
Ruby says gasp, a cat butt. I am shocketh. Lol, no, but seriously, I think he's adorable. Could we have a sweet Cheshire? Little less scary, more teddy bearish.
That is the only time I've seen that request made, because
Yeah.
almost every time we've seen a request like this, it has been that it be made more scary. In fact, some of the more, dare I say, violent feedback that I've seen to this Cheshire Cat plush is along the lines of, how dare you, sir? Cheshire Cat is not to be trifled with. He's not to be made cute. He's not supposed to be fluffy. You know, this is along the lines of, you clearly have lost your touch and should not be allowed to work on this property ever again. You know, so yeah, no, that's interesting to hear somebody asking for a cuter version, because I already thought this was kind of cute, right?
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, well.
Apparently in that post there was a request for people to give their favourite Chesh quote, and a lot of people, and here mentioned by Catherine Alice North, says, if you're not on edge, you're taking up too much space.
That's a good one.
A lot of people put that in the suggestions.
Yeah, that's all right. We do need to figure out if we're going to put a quote on the bag, and I think this is something that our insane children and the people in the comments here should probably help out with. One is, do we even put a quote on the bag? And second is, if we decide to do it, what is the quote? So let's think about that.
And finally, Monica Istas. Love this so much. Eyes definitely need to be a better shape. Needs to be a tad less chubby. I know it's a plush, but our Chesh is all claws, bones, and teeth. Skeleton-like.
Oh, there you go.
Requests for a less chubby plush.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Well, I mean, there's so many bits of feedback on this. I mean, one of the challenges for us sitting here is that we somehow figure out how to manage, especially when the feedback is so varied. It's sort of, oh, I want him to be fatter. No, I want him to be skinnier. No, he's gonna have to be right. And it just keeps going round and round, and it's very difficult for us to know sometimes exactly where we should come down. And so this is part of the management of the process to make this work.
Right.
What do you think there, Martin? Fatter or skinnier?
Fatter. Yep.
Okay.
More snuggly.
Okay, well.
So, In and Out super chatted, asking, I know sushi is a Japanese delicacy, but do they serve it in China?
Well, In and Out, that is a food question, which is appropriate to your brand because you are food. Thank you for the super chat. They do serve sushi, I think, probably everywhere in the world that I've been. It's not always that you'd want to eat it, but Japan does bring sushi to China, and China has some of the best sushi. Now, it used to be that Shanghai was sort of an up-and-coming city. There were not a lot of really fantastic restaurants here. In fact, it was difficult to even get cheese. Good Lord.
Wow.
When I first moved here, there was only one Starbucks in the entire city. Not to say that that's the height of culinary wonderfulness, but it does speak to the fact that the Western influence was not yet here. Now, in recent years, tons of Michelin star chefs and 5-star restaurants have popped up all around Shanghai, because Shanghai has now become what was once the title, I think, held by Hong Kong, which is sort of the financial food center of Asia. Shanghai now boasts, I think, more Michelin star restaurants than any city in the region. And as it goes to sushi, there is this place. This place is called Tsukuchi Fish. Asora. Anyway, this is in Shanghai. It's on Maoming-lu and Changlelu. And these guys fly sushi from Tokyo every single day, and it is super amazing. Now, I say that as a person who has eaten lots of sushi in the actual country of Japan, and this place is amazing. So this is the interior of that restaurant. This sushi chef, I actually know. We talk to him every time we go in there. Anyway, this place will blow your head off with just how yummy it is. And what's crazy is it's actually incredibly sort of priced, like it's not super expensive, and it's just very, very, very good. You don't eat sushi, do you?
Nope, can't stand it.
Can't stand sushi.
The wobbliness of the texture and the fishiness just makes me puke.
There you go. So anyway, there is amazing sushi here. You just have to know where to go.
Okay.
You got any more questions or suggestions or things on your list there?
Yeah, there's one up here about doing an EU stream.
We'll do an EU stream next week.
And photo mode in Asylum, which we kind of touched on in the Discord chat.
Yep, we'll do that, don't worry.
Lots of games doing photo mode. But I seem to lack any talent in making something look good when using a photo mode. I see people doing fantastic stuff online, like God of War and Spider-Man, and just couldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Meh.
Okay. Well, I think that does bring us to the end of today's stream. Let's make sure that there's no more super chats to clear out here, and make sure that there's no more comments that make us laugh out loud, like naming my child Boy. It seems like no. Alrighty. Well, as we wrap up, I am going to suggest that everyone head over to AmericanMcGee.com. Now, I figure that everybody still left in the chat already knows this, but you're going to get to hear it all over again. We are making a new Alice game, and if you'd like to support our efforts, even though those efforts may take years to see realized, you can head over to my blog at AmericanMcGee.com and do this list of things. Sign up for the mailing list. Put your name and your last name, and don't put your dead grandmother's name in there, but your email address, and that will help us to show to potential financiers just how many people in the world love this game. We'll also send you a monthly newsletter. You can follow me on social media. There's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, and there's YouTube. If you click on those things, you can go to those places and you can follow me. You can go over to Patreon. That's where you get early access to all the design stuff that we're doing. You can also get early bird specials on things like the White Rabbit.
This needs editing.
It does need editing. And there's also ways to get our art prints that we send out to our patrons every month. And then last but not least, you can go over to Mysterious. We should edit this too. Put that on our list for today.
Okay.
You can go over to Mysterious and you can buy all kinds of physical merchandise. Some of it's related to Alice and some of it's not. And so if you do those things, it's a good step towards helping to support everything that myself and Font Lord do here each day, each week. We do live stream from down here in the underground lair once a week, at least we try to, and we very much appreciate you joining us. So if you are interested in these things, do hit subscribe, hit like, leave some nasty comments in the comment section below.
Jib it up.
Jib it up. We all very much love you very much for your support. Do you love them for their support, Martin?
I do.
Okay. We really appreciate everything that you're helping us to do. So we will see you again, I hope, next week, if we're not off on holiday.
Yes, keep an eye on the usual channels for info about that.
There you go. See you all next time.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.